Hi, I'm Hannah Trudeau, and I'm standing outside of 19 Arrow Street, the site where the Harvard Humanist Chaplaincy meets regularly. The group is gathering inside. Let's go have a look at what's on the discussion for this afternoon.
Hi, I'm John Figdor. I'm the Assistant Humanist Chaplain here at Harvard University. I actually graduated last year from Harvard Divinity School here in Cambridge, Mass, with the first MDiv in humanism to be offered by that school. Of course, the idea of an atheist going to divinity school seems like a little bit of a strange thing to do, although for me it was fairly reasonable. When I was younger and I was attending college, I studied philosophy. That was my major area of research. And after I finished my degree, I started to think about what I might do next in life and what I might want to do after I graduated. And at first I thought, look, I've benefited so much from this system. I've benefited so much from all these great things we have in this country that I wanted to give something back. So I went and did AmeriCorps, and I worked in a domestic violence shelter in rural Montana for a year. Well, during my time out there, I got to see a lot of forces in action causing damage to women and women's rights. And unfortunately, I kept coming again and again upon religion as a serious problem, specifically some forms of Mormonism. Fortunately, while I was here, I had the luck of meeting Greg Epstein, who rather quickly showed me that a really aggressive, confrontational, angry atheist attitude is really ineffectual in terms of changing people's minds and changing people's attitudes, and that a different style is a much better way to achieve change. And so that was my introduction to humanism as kind of a better way of making a lot of atheist arguments.
Well, I'm Alex Ramos, and I'm at the Harvard Divinity School, doing a degree in early Christianity and New Testament. And I first got into humanism really in college, in my sophomore year, when I went up to Nebraska and to a place that was suddenly rather religious when I was not, and grew up in a place that was not. And so I was looking for this sense of community that I suddenly was lacking. Through the entirety of my freshman year, I didn't run into anybody else that I knew was non-religious.
My name is Laura, and I became involved with the Humanist Chaplaincy when I first came here. I'm a freshman, so they had in the opening day's calendar a meet and greet with the chaplaincy, and I was amazed because I had been looking online for some sign of a humanist group or a secular group, and I didn't see much that looked hopeful. I was raised in a fundamentalist Christian home, and I decided at some point that I was not a Christian anymore. I love learning about religion and from people, and I think that religion is a huge factor in who a person is, and when you get to know about their religion, you know something about what's important to them.
I perform humanist weddings, so that's one way to do it, certainly. In Charlotte, North Carolina, where I went to undergraduate school, I was part of an atheist, agnostic, and etc. sort of group, and we got together and met on a monthly basis, and did service projects and publicity with billboards, and worked with the religious faction rather than pushing against it.
Religious people don't really understand humanism, and a lot of humanists don't really understand what a lot of modern Christians and modern Jews do. And I feel like bridging that gap is the first step to making a much more cooperative society possible.
For me, humanism is two things before anything else. The first is a rejection of supernaturalism. I don't believe in ghosts or demons or any of that nonsense, or gods or anything like the flying spaghetti monster. I don't believe any of it, and neither should you or or any real adult. And then the other major point of humanism is a belief in the real human dignity of other people and the fact that they deserve moral worth, that we really ought to care about them. And I think that as long as you're someone who has a natural attitude towards life, you look for natural explanations, and you focus your ethical deeds not on what's going to happen to you in the afterlife, but on trying to help people in this one. I think that's the heart of humanism as far as I'm concerned.
I was wearing a wristband that had the Chaplaincy logo on it, and someone asked me about it, and she's like, well, you know, I was a godless atheist once and so lost and depressed, but then I found Jesus. And I was like, well, I'm so glad. You know, I really am glad that these people have these communities that they love, but I don't like it when they see me as like a bitter person who, you know, doesn't care about people and is lost. I'm not. I love this, and it's important to me.
I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt first. And, you know, granted, you can't just be indiscriminately good because not everybody is going to reciprocate that. But I mean, the goal is to be nice, to be charitable, to be civil, to engage in these discourses without this air of hostility that it's easy to slip into. And to try to make a world a better place by doing these things.
I mean, really, we're working on changing a lot of our programs over for next year. We've noticed that because we modernized our student groups and we have them meeting every week, we've seen dramatic increases in participation. We've seen a lot more consistent people coming out, and we've decided that we're probably going to carry that over to our adult groups as well. And so, you know, the Harvard Humanist community will meet once a week, which has never happened before.
And humanism, I think, separates itself from atheism in that it doesn't identify itself strictly based upon the idea of not believing in something, but rather is a force for positive change. And that's what I wanted to be a part of, this idea that we can't just sort of be a group of debaters who combat religion, but rather, no, we need to stand for something, not just against it.